How would you navigate a social occasion like an Indian wedding?
With Indian weddings, always remember you've got soft skills that you need to have, and then you've got just things that you need to know, and then you've got some strategies and structures that you can implement. So what happens at an Indian wedding if you go in there and you don't eat?
You get forced into eating, like literally cake and food shoved into your mouth.
Yeah. So what happens if you go into an environment full of Indians and you start talking about the fact that you're on this new health kick and you're doing this thing for your well-being and you're managing your weight more effectively?
That is when people are more inclined to go, here, eat this, or you should have a bit of this, try this. It's like things just change because they know you're trying to get yourself on track.
But I think this is where like the nutritionists and the coaches and everyone's a PT and everyone's got all this advice. Like experts come out of the woodwork, and obviously not actual experts. They've just got some crazy advice, like rub haldi on your face 25 times a day and the fat's going to burn off. And it probably would, because you probably wouldn't want to eat afterwards. But just think about it from like this perspective. You've got to go in to an environment like that kind of confident and sure of yourself. So that's what I mean by soft skills. You've got to go into an environment like that and be okay with saying no to people or setting healthy boundaries. So if you're going to do this and you're going to go to a wedding, you're trying to manage your well-being more effectively, you don't have to say no to everything. And I think that's quite a big thing for people to understand. Like, you don't have to be black and white with your nutrition. It's not that these foods are going to completely derail you, but you do need to be confident saying, I've had enough, thank you.
Yeah.
It's such a simple thing. Create a healthy boundary. Like, I'll go up there and I'll pick something out when I'm ready to eat. Like, such a simple thing to say, but if you say it with confidence, people are going to listen and take that on. If you're a little bit meek about it and you're not really following through on it, people will walk all over you. It's like when you say to somebody, I'm not drinking tonight, and what's the first thing that they do? Go to the bar, they buy you a round, they buy you a drink. And
then you feel obliged to have it. But I think just what you mentioned there, that wording really makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think let's say like the more important skills that you need to have, like you need to have awareness going into the event, right? So do you remember when I posted the Indian wedding post recently about all the calories that go into what you have at the godara, what you have at the reception, what you might have for mains and starters, dessert, that sort of stuff. And the lowest calorie day on that was 3,000 calories. And that was me being really conservative. Like that was like one pakora in the morning or one samosa in the morning. Is that going to happen? No
it's
way.
Crazy. It all just adds up. All these little things throughout the day.
So if you can go in and you've got an awareness of, and this is what we do with the CHR members, like give them guides, like this is what's in this food. This is, you know, just so you've got an awareness of how to make better choices, because once you've got education, you can make more informed choices. So that's a simple thing you could do. Another skill that you might have is how many days is a wedding?
Good 3-4 days.
3-4 days per occasion, right? Yeah. So if you've got one wedding in the month, 3 to 4 days of slightly increased intake is not going to impact the rest of the month's progress unless you allow it to. Okay, so that's not going to be much of an impact. But what if you've got consecutive weddings? You know, when you first started the journey, what did you have?
4 weddings in the space of 3 weekends. So that was just absolutely crazy.
So 4 weddings in 3 weekends. So when you've got such an intense period like that, you're going to need to start maybe adjusting calories. So you could use the calorie wave approach, where you've got low days leading up to the event, and then you've got high days, and you've got low days again leading up to the next event. So that's quite a manageable thing to do. The thing you can't do there is just eat nothing, like during the week, because you'll go into that event like really food focused. You want to eat everything, you want to reward yourself. So be really systematic with that, be sensible with it, right? If you've got those periods of time, just remember, if you're reducing the calories down 3 or 4 days a week, your weight is obviously going to drop. Okay, your training output might be impacted slightly, but your weight's going to drop. So you might get really motivated and boosted by those numbers dropping on the scales. But then you have the event and the weight bounces back up. And that's natural, it's normal. But mentally that can mess you up, right? So if you've seen a low weight and then you're suddenly seeing it bounce up, you start to get a little bit down, demotivated. Oh my God, I've ruined my progress. No, think about the trend of the data over the course of time. Like, look at it. Yeah, you had a drop, you had a peak, but the trend is actually progress. So if you can keep that mental space in a good place, then you'll manage that wedding more effectively.
Yeah.